I'm Jeff Gould, America's storyteller. I just found this out about a week ago, but it makes so much sense. The eyes are attached to your brain. It's sort of the same system. Literally, the eyes are the window to the soul. When you look at somebody's eyes, you are looking into their intellect. And the person that you're going to be listening to has so much joy that shines out of those eyes. We laughed a lot, told a lot of good stories. It's Ali Gabriel. Ali Gabriel, among other things, has had 30 different jobs. Now, that is a lot of company culture. So, we're going to find out what makes a good company, what makes a bad company, what makes a good job. When do you decide to leave the job? Should you leave now or should you wait? A lot of life experience. And speaking of experience, she has a piece of advice that her mother gave her when she was young, so important that she carried it with her and stuck it to mirrors throughout her journey as a married person, of course, a daughter, and now the mother of daughters. I think you'll really enjoy the interview. I'm Jeff Gould. Tell us what you think, ask your questions, and enjoy our conversation. I'm Jeff Gould. You're listening to our podcast, our broadcast, our conversations with people. One of the things I like to do is converse with people who are interesting. I like to talk to interesting people who have interesting things to say because it's interesting. And we have with us Ali Gabriel. Good afternoon, Ali. How are you this fine day?
Hi, Jeff. Thanks for having me. I'm excellent. I'm happy to be with you.
So, if you want to have a good conversation, what you try to do is kind of prime the pump a little bit. If you ask an interesting question, sometimes people say, "Oh, I never even thought about that," and it takes them a while. So, I have preloaded some interesting questions. Allie, are you ready? I sent out to you my Jeopardy game, and we'll start with that question. What do you select for your Jeopardy question today?
Okay. Stupid, ridiculous things for 800, please.
Stupid, ridiculous things for 800.
Mm-hmm.
What social trend is stupid and ridiculous?
All right. This is going to be mildly controversial. You ready?
Let's do it.
TikTok.
Okay, now wait a minute.
I know.
Why is that mildly controversial? Isn't everybody kind of agreeing with you on that?
No, I just met somebody this past week and we were talking about TikTok and he said he has never downloaded it on his phone. Probably a young man in his late 30s. And I know folks younger than that are using it wildly, but I think a lot of people in that age range. What generation is that? Is that a Gen Zer? I think
You
they're
know,
using it too.
I think what basically we say, if they're younger than us, we go kids. If they're older than us, we go geezers, right? That's what we do. So is he a kid or is he a geezer? That's the question we have.
Yeah, well, he's a decade younger than me, so I'm going to go with kid.
Okay, so he does not have TikTok.
No, he said he had never downloaded it. I think he was worried about the Chinese spying on him.
Oh. Well, the Big Brother is everywhere. He's watching. He's noticing the algorithms. I think there's some truth to that. I don't know what he's going to gather from all these cats playing the piano, but whatever. Do you have TikTok?
I have it. I do not post on it. One of my children has it, so I have it to spy on her a little bit. But
how does that work, by the way? How did you tell her in advance, listen, I'm spying on you?
No, you can see just like similar to Instagram, or you can see what people are liking and viewing.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And so I have it for that. And honestly, I don't know I have it. I probably have been on it one time in the last six months, maybe. But it does have some sort of a weird effect on you. It's sucking you in and you're like,
well, one of my daughters who reads a ridiculous amounts of books. I think her goal is to read over 200 books a year. So she reads a lot. And what stopped her from that goal, she said last year, was TikTok. Just a constant loop of just weird and intriguing stuff. And she was not proud of it, but she still is on it. A lot of people are on it. I heard that the average screen time for your phone is something like, 5 hours a day. I'm not sure if that's, I think all of us would agree it's a lot. And the question is, do I get rid of all of them? Some of them? Jump in because whatever, it's my life. I get to do whatever I want.
I don't know what the answer is, but I mean, even if it is 5 hours, isn't that just shameful and embarrassing
That is
for all of
embarrassing.
us? Yeah.
I was thinking about that, but thought, back before then, we were still finding ways to waste our time, right? We were still, you know, looking through stupid magazines, just idly leafing through magazines. We were playing solitaire with cards. I mean, people have always found ways to waste time. I'm not defending TikTok. Good for you if you've got less of it. I heard somebody talk about abstinence. Have you heard of that? So it's a
No.
what term where you just
I
say,
can predict
yeah,
it's
I'm going to abstain, and you pick your app, and then you're just done for, I don't know, a certain period of time. And a friend of mine was saying his mother-in-law, who was on Facebook with her sister, sniping back and forth on the political realm. And finally he said, why are you doing this? She's your sister. Just stop talking to her on Facebook. And he thought there was going to be like, she looked at him and he thought there was going to be a big fight. And then she said, will you delete that from my phone right now? Huh. Interesting.
I think a lot of us have that feeling in our
Yeah.
gut. Yeah.
So you've done a lot of different things. Give me some secret sauce, some behind the scenes stuff that you've garnered from working all these various gigs. Kind of the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain. If you knew what I knew about this, what is something that you could tell me that would be helpful? Because you've been behind the curtain and I have not.
I'm glad that you gave me these questions ahead of time, at least some of them. And when you say I've done a lot of different things, I assume you are referencing my illustrious resume.
Yes. How many jobs? How many jobs?
I, you know, I if I guess I would say 30.
So,
Which is extra funny for
so,
me
so let me
because
just, I would just
okay,
say, so if you worked 3 years at each job, that would make you 90. So you're not. So these are a pretty quick spin. So that's 30 different gigs. Okay. All right.
but I mean that's starting in the day I turned 16. I
Sure.
started my first job at Cashwise Video Store.
Oh,
So I
okay.
mean, we're going all the way back,
Yeah,
right?
I hear that. I guess I've never really done the math. I don't think I've done 30, but I've had a lot of different jobs. But in all these jobs, you're kind of brought to the back and said, no, listen, here's what we need to do. And then you always find out some behind the scenes stuff. Oh, and so since you've been in these 30 different gigs, what can you tell me that's kind of interesting that I would find helpful?
Are we talking about a specific job? You want
You
to talk?
you you go. So I talked to a woman who was a worked at a wait staff, and she said this: when you take the order, you got to look out for the guy who's paying the bill and the alpha female. They will affect your tip more than anything else. I never heard of the phrase alpha female at a wait staff but it was interesting to me. So anyway, that was her take. It was very fascinating to hear that. I'll have her on another program, but that's an example.
Okay. Yeah, I like the alpha female, by the way, and I will talk about my experiences, but I also want to say that when my husband is paying the bill, he always puts his card out and then they bring it back after they've run it and then he slides it over to me to leave the tip.
Oh.
I don't think he doesn't want to calculate it or he doesn't know what to do. So I don't know if that makes me the alpha female, but he always slides it to me to write in the
And
tip.
and then she said also that when you just if you just touch the person, not in an obtrusive way, just a little bit on the shoulder,
Ah,
that's effective in terms of getting a tip.
that's smart. Yeah, it must do something to their brain
Now
or
we're not
I like
talking
that.
like walking up the shoulder, you boop, 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 nothing like that, but just kind of like, and I'm leaving this with you. Thank you. Have a good evening. Fascinating. Absolutely
That
fascinating.
is fascinating.
You probably, one of your gigs probably was being a waitress, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, a couple times at a sports bar once. Um, that was interesting. I chased someone out the door once who didn't leave me a tip. Um, I wanted feedback, right? I wanted and that's how I presented it. I noticed you didn't leave me a gratuity, and I was just curious what I could do better next time.
And what did they say?
They were wildly embarrassed. And they did it on purpose. And so embarrassment was a weird response for them, right? Because if you do it on purpose, you should have a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And they just didn't. You know. Yeah, I mean, you've heard that. If you can afford to go out to eat, you can afford to tip your wait staff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, that was the only time I ever did that.
I'm
Probably.
gonna, yeah, I'm gonna throw this out because we've heard this debate about how much people are giving us tips, and I understand that on all sides. I would just throw this out, and I was talking to a guy who I don't know, but I kind of know. He's worth millions, and he is a little bit salty about when you get your coffee and if they flip it around and you're supposed to pay them 20% while they pour a cup of coffee in front of you and hand it across to you. He's like, mm, mm, mm. And I thought to myself, what if you just doubled it? What if you just doubled it and just threw that right back? It was $5 cup of coffee, here's $10. What if you did that? And what would happen then as they go like, what did you do? Because certainly you can do the calculation. This guy's not going to run out of money. And now he's the guy who just doubled back. And now we have a possible conversation where if he goes back to that place, they say, go talk to that guy. That guy's, and now they have a little bit of respect or interest or curiosity. And now he has a chance to maybe pour into them. As I've been blessed in my life, so I'm blessing you back. Well, what do you mean by blessed? And you get a chance maybe to tell your story. And if you're older and you're looking for a chance or opportunity to pour back into another generation, I thought that would be a really clever way to do that, especially since, by and large, most younger people who are working at restaurants probably don't have a lot of extra money. They probably would really remember that big tip. Just a thought.
Yeah, that's interesting. But you're assuming in that curiosity. And I think that's something that a lot of a younger generation is missing, right? Because they would need to start that conversation after that. They would need
Hmm.
to, oh, and first of all, they'd need to notice, right? I don't
Uh-huh.
even know if they look down at the screen when I leave a tip. I don't even know if they can see it. In fact,
Oh,
I'm not sure. When I was a waitress, I didn't just show an iPad and say, here are some, please look down for some options. I always wonder, don't you wish they would say this instead? I think about this every time. I just wanted you to notice on your screen there's an opportunity for you to leave me a gratuity today. And if you received excellent service today, I would really appreciate that very much. Rather than, can you look down at the screen for some options?
yes. Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I really like that. If I was paying it, well, I guess we did record this. I'm going to write that down and save. Of course, I don't know that I'm going to go back into the waitstaff world. Hey, can you answer this question, behind the scene question? My assumption, and I'm going to call it the spit in your food camera, which is a little camera below that sees just how much you tip or don't tip. And then they let you know that. So if you didn't tip them at all, that they can spit in your food. By the way, th- they don't really do that, do they?
No, I've never
No.
seen it. I've never seen anyone do anything like that.
Okay. All right.
No. I
Any other
I
behind the scenes stuff? I mean, 30 jobs. We've only got through the waitress stuff. What
All
else?
right. Well, let's do some other fun ones. This is a conversation I had with someone this week. So, I was a flight attendant in the late 90s. I worked for an airline that doesn't exist anymore. You want to guess?
Okay, so Spirit, Braniff, Pan Am. Uh,
It was after Pan Am.
was after Pan Am. Pan Am. Who even knows that anymore?
Well,
Pan Am.
I do.
Northwest.
Got
Northwest.
it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, Northwest Airlines, they got bought, I think, at some point by Delta is what happened. So yeah, I was a flight attendant, and in the late 90s, every single airline employee was a smoker. Everyone. Every pilot, every flight attendant, every baggage handler. And it was pre 9/11, obviously. So air restrictions and all kinds of things like that were a lot different, a lot looser. And you know when they park an airplane and then they pull the steps up to the side,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
not to deplane the passengers, not for that, but for the baggage handlers to be able to go up and down from the plane. So when we would get the flight emptied, all the pilots and all the flight attendants would go walk down the stairs and stand down there with the baggage handlers. I don't know why. I don't know if that was so industry specific or if it was just the late 90s and everybody smoked. I don't know what was going on
now
there.
Northwest, that's year round. It was just cold weather too. Same thing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, as soon as you got that plane empty, everybody down there lighting their heater up.
So did they, would they talk smack about the passengers or stuff like that? Would be
yeah,
good.
probably talk about our, where we were. Because most of the destinations I went to, that it wasn't like meaningful time spent there. It was unload the plane, have a cigarette, and reload it to go to the next spot. So
Minneapolis to Fargo.
Yeah, lots of Grand Rapids from Detroit. That kind of lots of that. Yeah.
What would be a slang term you'd use for somebody? Like, there was probably these people that you'd have a slang term for. I got a 4F for coming in on line too.
Interesting.
Or I have Karen or Nancy or whatever.
I don't think Karen was
didn't
a thing.
exist. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think. I'm trying to think of a good one. I did something pretty embarrassing once, though. Not my finest moment.
As a flight attendant. By the way, you were in the air. You were after stewardess. You were not a stewardess, right? You were a
that
flight
never offended me. I'm pretty hard to offend.
But when you were hired at the time, was stewardess the word that they used?
No, I think it was flight attendant already then.
Okay. All right.
Okay,
but
maybe right around that time is when it changed. Towards the end of my time, I only did that job. Well, as we discussed earlier, I didn't do any of my jobs for very long at all. But I did that one just shy of 2 years. And towards the end, I was getting a little bit cynical, which was crazy. I was 21 years old. I don't know how you become cynical at 21, but
because you're smoking out the back. There's something out smoking out of the side of your mouth that makes you cynical.
I think so.
Okay.
And a gentleman boarded the plane and said to me, "Ma'am, could you tell me where row 11 is?" And I said, "Yep, I sure can. If you get to 10, keep going. And if you've got to 12, you've gone too far."
Oh.
And he said, "Ma'am, I'm blind."
Oh.
It was real bad. I nearly fell to my knees to apologize. Had him take my arm, escort. Well, that was not good. Not good. But anyway, it's a story now, 25 years later.
It's a story. It's a story. I remember selling shoes at Penny's. And back in the day, you made commission on the shoes. So you wanted to sell. I did okay selling deer foam slippers, but you had to sell a boatload of those. What you wanted to sell was the calf link leather boots. There was money in those. Sadly, behind the screen, most women are a size 10, but the shoe industry just does not even want to admit that. They think every woman is a size 7, and and they think that every woman is twiggy, a super thin person. Well, this woman, who was not heavy, but she was just solid, right? I wanted to sell her these calf-length leather boots. I wanted to, and she wanted to buy them. And I'm taking that zipper and I'm just, and it's not going to happen. And I said, okay, talk about embarrassing. I said, ma'am, this isn't going to work until we kill the fatted calves. Such was my love for puns. And she looked at me and she said, great, or whatever it was. It's not something you teach. It's not good customer service. It's poor customer service. It's having a joke for joke's sake. I'm not like Don Rickles looking for a laugh crowd. I'm just talking to her. Anyway, that's been more than 25 years ago. But anyway, you had an embarrassing story. I thought I'd add mine. Okay, so you're buying. That's the next phase of the show. So you can take anybody out who's alive today, and you are taking them out to eat. It can be anybody, and you are picking the restaurant, and you are picking the person. What do you think? Who do you think?
I'm going to take my dad.
So Booker is our producer. Booker, can you put in the sound effect in post-production, because that's great. Are you seriously going to take out your dad? Don't you take him out anyway?
Yeah, all the time.
Okay.
I
Where
know
are you
that
going to go?
probably wasn't what you were looking for. I don't know. We like to try new spots, and my dad's my favorite person to talk to. He is like you and I, a big idea guy. And one of our favorite things we talk about, all the ridiculous people when the Powerball gets up to like $900 billion or whatever.
Yeah.
We always buy a ticket. He and I, we always buy one, because you can't talk about the dream unless it's actually a possibility, right?
Correct.
So you can't go in and dream what you would do with $900 billion unless you actually have the chance, even just one chance to win it. So we like to talk a lot about that, about building our family compound and leaving a legacy for many generations, and having just massive amounts of generosity to it's so fun. It's so fun. And I'm smiling just talking about it now because we have so much fun talking about it.
And don't you find it interesting that unless the jackpot's over like 200 million,
yeah, 200 million.
Peanuts. Why even bother?
I do find that funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, 200 million wouldn't be enough for us. We need 900 to really get it done.
I have such an imagination. I won't do it because I can imagine winning it, and then all of a sudden my phone ringing off the hook with people who I barely know, demanding, not asking for money, but demanding money. And then I'm also thinking about family relationships and how would I eat. And there's, and I get to the point, as I am, I just wish I never even bought that thing. And then I go, bink. Yeah, there I am. Yeah. What kind of food are you eating with your dad?
He's kind of funny. He likes steaks, and I do too. We're meat eaters. So yeah, if I don't mind buying, we can go have a beautiful dinner somewhere. I'm not picky. It's more about the company for me than the food, I think.
Rare? Medium rare?
I think I'm a medium rare person. Rare's a little too much for me.
Yeah, a little too bloody.
Have you ever sent a steak back?
I never send any food back.
No?
I mean, if I sink my teeth into it and it's cold and frozen on the inside, just as the waitress comes by, how's everything tasting? I always say, good, right? Now, after she leaves, I go, it's cold. But I never send food back. You do.
Well, I try not to, because I don't want to make them do more work. I don't want it to cost them more money. But if you're going to buy a $80 steak and it's, you ordered it medium rare and it's overcooked, and I would send that back.
I can't, I think you should. I'm just saying I never would. First off, if it's food and my mom she would say, just eat it. We were just eat it. And so we never complained about any food my mother made. It would be an insult. So I never do that. I eat whatever it is. If it tastes terrible, I put it in my mouth. I still eat all the food on the plate because there are starving children in China, as I was told as a young person. I still own all of that ridiculousness, and that's how I eat. And I always eat the vegetables first because they're the best for you. And then I eat the potatoes because they're delicious. And then finally, I eat the meat because that's my favorite. And that's how you do it. And I don't recommend it. But if you were to go out to eat with me, you'd say, "Oh, I see what's going on here." He's a very methodical eater.
And very obedient. Excellent.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Still listening to your mother.
Right. Who's been gone now for a while, but she still is there. I spend more time with her in memory than I did when she was
Aw.
alive, I think. What's the best piece of advice you ever got?
I love this one, by the way. So we were on my dad. We're going to move to my mom now.
Okay.
I think I was probably 14 or 15. Actually, no, I know I was 15 now because I can timeline it in my mind.
Mhm.
She brought me just a 3x5 index card, and she had written on the top decision making skills. And it had number 1, number 2, and number 3. And we talked for a very long time. And she said, I want you going forward, before you make any big decision in your life, to ask yourself these 3 questions.
I got to write these down. What are they?
Okay.
Okay.
Number 1,
Okay.
does it glorify God?
Oh.
Number 2, does it show love for others? And number 3, does it show respect for yourself? And I don't need to write these down because they're ingrained in my heart and my mind. And I have gone back to those 3 questions more times in my life than I can count.
You know what happens when you're 15 and you get this list? You're not going to have any fun this weekend, are you? You can't go out with any. Okay. I can't do it any. Right. Does
I had a mirror in my room, kind of a full length vintage mirror that
Mhm.
I would sit in front of it, crisscross every morning and do my
Mm.
hair and put on some mascara. And I stuck the index card on the mirror, and it was there for forever. It was there for as long as I lived at home after that, and then followed me um, to new mirrors and new places of residence. And now again, I don't need the card anymore. I wish I still had it, in fact, but I don't need it anymore.
Do you
See,
know where she got that from? Did she ever
I
tell you?
don't. I don't know. Honestly, I could ask her. I don't know if it was hers or if it's something she had gleaned from a conference or a book or a Bible study or
Does
something.
she?
But
I'm assuming that since that's been was posted for her to see, she knew what an impact it had. Have you ever talked to her about that?
not, no.
Hmm.
I will, though. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
I will. But
Now
think
you
about vetting anything you do through that filter.
oh, yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
it's just
You
a
know,
recipe for success.
yeah, yes. And it really is most people would say he's fun loving, she's fun loving. Well, there's nothing wrong with that, we say, but really it diminishes your possibility to be joy seeking, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
You really want to seek joy. Joy is more longer lasting, it's more fulfilling, it's better. But often we trade that in for fun. And fun is expensive, as I see it, many funerals. I do many funerals for the fun uncle, the fun aunt, the fun brother, and they all die, oh boy, way before their time. Because fun invariably has some sort of dangerous and or addictive and or illegal procedure. Afterwards, if you survive, oh, it's a great story. And I laugh at the good stories. But I don't tell the group because I'm not going to. But I think to myself, yeah, I remember that story. That was for this guy over here who didn't survive that story, and I did his funeral. So I guess
Hmm.
I don't want to be that much of a wet blanket, but internally I am going, oh, right? You know what I'm saying? Now, you have daughters. Have you given them that advice?
I have. I haven't done the index card thing, though, but I'm inspired now.
And Did you ever talk to your mother and go, "Mother," or were you always respectful?
No, we had a rough patch in there.
Uh,
I
yeah.
I would say it was probably from, I don't know, 18 to 22, maybe before that even. It
The
might have been
flight
before
the
that.
flight at the
We
flight
went s
attendant era.
yeah. So it might have been before that. I remember, the tradition of going school shopping, before
Mhm.
school starts, you go and you get new shoes and new clothes, and we were shopping together. So I must have been in high school. We were in Maurice's, you know, you
I know
know,
where Maurice's
yeah,
is.
we were
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Maurice's in my hometown, Owatonna, Minnesota, at the mall. And I don't remember this specifically how I was speaking to her, but I know that it was massive amounts of disrespect. And we're shopping together. She's there buying me anything I want. We're at the checkout counter and she was writing a check. That's how long ago it was, right?
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
writing a check and she was in the middle of writing her check and I spewed something rude or obnoxious. And I have never seen her calmer. She closed her checkbook. She put it in her purse. She put her purse on her shoulder and she walked out of the store.
Hmm. Now, what grade in school were you at that
I'm
time?
thinking I was maybe like a junior or a senior, so 17 or 18 years old.
So I'm gonna speak to that a little bit because what you were is what many people are. They see that the road is coming to an end. It's that sigmoid curve that I've talked about with other people at other times. Life is a sigmoid curve. You're in school, it goes great, and all of a sudden you get to the top of the curve and it starts to taper down and slip down. When you were a junior, you go, uh oh, this is going to end, isn't it? In fact, I'm ready for it to end. I don't really want to stay in high school. I'm ready to move on. I'm ready to move on with my life, but I have no idea what that is. I do know it means leaving this house. And I'm ready to leave this house, but I don't want to leave this house. But I'm ready to leave this house. How can I leave this house? Subconsciously, I will become a really bad person to my parents. And I see it over and over again. I saw it in our daughters, saw it myself. Just become a rude person. Why? Because you are kind of afraid of what the next step is. Now, you don't even see that in yourself, but that's what it is, right? And it's not in the senior year; it's in the junior year. The senior year, and it kind of surprises everybody. Happens after Christmas, the junior year. They start to just be a little bit sassy and snarky and dismissive and eye rolling and condescending. What it really is what am I going to do now? I have
Mhm.
no idea. I don't think you can help me because I'm now old enough to realize that this is a decision that I have to make for myself. And I don't know what that is. And I'm worried. So I'll do what all teenagers do. I'll just become a jerk. Yeah.
It coulda
What's
oh,
the best piece of advice you didn't get? If you could go back and say, okay, now
um, I wish someone would have told me to have one more baby. And I hear this from people a lot, actually. And I shouldn't say that. I did have one friend say to we have 3 children, and I had one friend say to me, "3 is for quitters." Uh, but I don't know. I'm obviously we're my husband's 51, I'll be 48 next month. We're way beyond having children, but I don't know. I kinda just wish we woulda had one more child. I know that's kind of a weird thing, but I know I'm not alone because 'cause I've talked to other people about that too.
I felt that same thing. And here's my thought on that is that you have no idea if you'll be a good parent. You have no idea.
I
You see
still
how
don't know.
you see how bratty everybody else's kids are. And so you do it and you make your plan to say, and we picked 4 I grew up in a household of three, so it was always two against one, right? And so I thought two against two would be fairest, and it turned out to be right. It was a good call. But long about the time that the youngest was about 12, I thought, huh, we could have had some more. By then, we realized that there is never enough money and there's always enough money. And I wish I'd have known that and owned that because we might have had more children. So
Mhm.
if you enjoy being a parent, and not everybody does, but if you enjoy being a parent, I think you're right. I think you're right. There's kind of that, we could have had another one. Do you
Mhm.
ever then think, oh, maybe we'll adopt or be foster parents? Do you ever think about that?
N It's a nice idea, and but I don't know, I just haven't I don't think so. I
Yeah,
don't think
I'm
that I
with
don't
you. I really, really admire people who are in foster care. I just think the world of them.
Me too.
And I just I can't imagine I just can't imagine that I would be able to do it.
I think one of my biggest worries about that is how it would impact my children,
Same, same.
and I don't I feel like it would almost change who they are to become.
And when my children are my children, they know they're my children. If I was a foster parent, there would be this very real thing. Listen, I'm going to help you out for 8 years and then we're done, right?
Yeah.
Here's the barrier. Now, these are my real kids. And then and I just hate that concept, but it would have to be that way or my children would just not like it. I just don't think it would work. I just don't think it would work. Hmm. Now, perhaps I'll get a mass response from my four daughters who will say, "What are you doing, Dad? You should absolutely." But I don't think I think they will just be, they'll ghost me on this, which means that they secretly agree with that. So you got a choice between any instrument and you're a master of this instrument. I mean, you play it and people stop and go, "Wow, look at that." Or it's a language. And I mean, you're in some foreign country and some people behind the counter, and then all of a sudden you just in fluency, you know, just argue or comment and their jaw drops. So you can be a virtuoso in an instrument or a language. What's it going to be?
All right. If it were an instrument, it would be the piano. And the reason for that, have you ever been to an airport or something where they just have a piano and people just walk off and go play? I want to be that person.
Right, right.
If there is a spotlight anywhere, I want it shining on me. I can't believe I just said that. Um, so if it were an instrument, I would choose piano because I would want to be able to do that. Just go play a piano on the street corner in Manhattan or something. I don't know. But I'm not gonna choose that. I'm gonna choose a language.
Oh, oh.
And this goes back again. I think I have a lot of fun memories of growing up and being a teenager and things like that. But when I was a sophomore in high school, I was 15 years old. It was 1994. We had a exchange student come to live at our house for 1 full year. You know, some of those
From
exchange programs are 30 days or 90 days or a
Mhm.
summer. This was a full year, and she was from France, and
Oh,
we have stayed in touch all this time. We have stayed in touch, so that was, yeah, 1994, so we have been friends for 31 years. Back and forth visits. She was in my wedding. We just went last summer. My oldest daughter stayed with her for a month, and my mom went as well, and then the rest of
oh
my
my,
family
oh
came and
my.
joined, and we stayed for 10 days and had a real, French immersion experience. Not I mean, we saw the tourist sites, but that is not what we did. We stayed at their country home, and I'm doing that in quotes because it's a castle. It's like
So she's loaded.
she is French royalty. So France doesn't have an aristocracy anymore, but they still
Right.
have all the titles, and then all these blue blood French people, they all marry each other because they all want to keep this French line going.
Je
Yeah,
ne sais quoi.
so it is an unbelievable, crazy, cool experience, and I wish that I could just go there and just blow her away. I took French a lot. I took French. I
Mhm.
think I started in 6th grade trying to learn French and took it all through high school and then got to college, and I knew it well enough. I tested out of,
Mhm, mhm,
quite a
mhm.
bit of French classes, but I never stuck with it. It's a regret.
She speaks American probably in a delicious way, which has a nice kind of a French accent, right? She's just amazing.
Well, when she came to us when she was 15, she was just learning English, and I mean, certainly she learned a lot. She was immersed. The only
Mhm,
person she had to speak French to while she was here, I think there was another French exchange student at our school, and they
mhm,
connected, and then our French teacher who would speak to
mhm.
her in French. I think those were her 2 outlets to be able to use her native tongue and really get out how frustrated she was having to live with me. But I mean, her English was very broken and very funny, and we still make lots of jokes about it. Shortly after she moved in, I had left my curling iron plugged in, and we were headed out to school, and I heard her scream, "Allison, your machine is open." Your machine is open.
Yeah, yeah.
And that
And
she was trying to tell me I left my curling iron on.
sure, sure.
So, I mean, she was I mean, she could communicate, but her English was not good, but it was when she left, and now it's amazing. She still speaks English all the time.
What's a word they use in France that we don't have a word for? They all say the French have a word for everything.
Oh, what is the I cannot think of it. I'm not gonna be able to speak to this well, but there is a saying in French, you know how we say, "I miss you"?
Mhm, mhm.
The way theirs translates, darn it, I don't know it. But anyway, it's much more meaningful. It's like, "I miss you being part of me," or
Mm.
it's got, like, this way bigger, beautiful meaning than just, "Hey, I miss ya," you know?
Hmm.
That's it. That's the only one I can think of.
I work with a woman who had a foreign exchange friend whose name was Claudia, and she wanted so badly to name her daughter Claudia, but she knew that nobody would ever call her Claudia. They called Claudia, right? So, mm, yes, Ellison.
Allison.
That's right.
We used to play tricks on her too. This is just how my dad is very, very funny, and we knew that she was very unfamiliar with American culture. And this is my favorite. My my grandfather used to go down to Florida just to buy onions. I know this sounds crazy, but
Sure.
he loved sweet Vidalia
I
onions.
was just gonna say Vidalia onions, of
And
course.
he
Yeah.
would come back with boxes of them from Florida in the back of his car, and he would drop them off. And he had heard from a friend that you could really make these onions last forever if you put them inside of a nylon stocking. So you put
Hmm.
one in, and then you tie a knot, and then you
Hmm.
put in another one and tie a knot, and then just hang them in your garage. And then as you need an onion, you just go cut one off,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they'll last forever because they're not touching, and it's cool out there, and they won't rot. So my brothers and I all knew this, but my dad realized there is no way my exchange student would have any comprehension what or why we were doing.
Sure, sure.
So he made up a holiday, and he called it Cucamonga Day. And Cucamonga Day. So he comes down and he's like, "Kids, it's Cucamonga And my brothers and I come running down, and
You're in on the joke, I take it.
oh, we're all in on it. And he's like, okay, whoever can stuff onions the fastest wins the prize. And our exchange student is putting onions in and tying the knot, and putting onions in and tying the knot.
Oh,
and then,
my.
my dad keeps adding elements, and we're swinging these nylons full of onions over our heads, screaming Cucamonga Day. Anyway, we got her good. It was pretty funny. We still talk about it today and laugh and laugh. And I bet you she has told that story 100 times in her life or more.
When did you tell her? When did you let her out in on the secret?
I think my mom probably felt so bad for her. Yeah, it was good. We did stuff like that all the time to her.
So you can spend 24 hours and only 24 hours, exactly 24 hours, any place in time on Earth, and you will survive to come back. All right. So I'm giving you 24 hours.
Okay.
Where are you going to go? Forward, backwards, sideways, country, whatever.
I think I'd stay in America, but the time thing is incredibly intriguing to me. I've always been fascinated by. Have you watched? Did you watch Did you watch Yellowstone?
No, I don't have I'm not loaded for the subscriptions like you are.
Oh,
no, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Yellowstone did these 2 prequels.
Prequels, yeah.
Right?
My daughter Meredith swears by them. She says they're fabulous. Yeah.
So one I think was 1889, and one was 1923. And both of those shows and those time frames are very intriguing to me. Now, 1889 might be a little too far back. That's a little too much. But in 1923, there were cars and trains. And I know I wouldn't be doing much train travel if I only had 24 hours, but I love the simplicity of that time, like early America, and people loving their land and wanting to. It was all about legacy and what are we going to build and leave for future generations. And that mentality means a lot to me. And anyway, that's what I'm going to pick. I know that's kind of broad, but I don't want to go.
Best nonfiction book you've read recently.
Okay, hold on. I got them here. I'm going to.
Oh, you do?
Duck off camera now.
Okay.
So it's actually a pair of books. Okay. Can you see these? This is called
For Women Only.
For Women Only.
For Men Only.
This is called For Men Only.
Now, wait a minute. You didn't read that one, did you?
I did.
Oh, you're not supposed to.
I know.
Read the title, for gosh sakes.
I know, but I wanted to because I wanted to read this book and know I know how my own brain works, but I wanted to know, how is my husband seeing me? What things am I doing?
Is the font like really bigger and short words like women dumb, women no good?
No, but there is.
Weird.
This is funny. They're in the Men Only one. There's like a quick study guide. But this is absolutely fascinating. This was a roadmap into my husband's head. I loved it. I made meaningful changes. I learned so much. They're a really quick read, and it's a book that I will read again and again and again. And I can see you implement things, right, to make your life better, to make your marriage better, to make yourself better. But a lot of times we do good for a while and then we kind of fall off. And I think it's because we forget, or we get lazy, or we get selfish. And I'm going to read.
Who's the author?
Oh, it's Shanti Feldhahn.
Okay.
Shaunti.
All right. We'll get that up on the comments. Yeah.
You can borrow mine.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, as a person who has written books, every author in the world now hated what you just said. I think everybody who likes books likes the concept of libraries until they write books, and then they go, "What are you doing? Buy your own copy." I'm
Oh,
kidding. I'm kidding you a little bit there. I'm kidding. Okay, so um, you've had 30 jobs. What makes a good what?
about 30.
Yeah, well, nobody's keeping track. Okay, what makes a good job?
Well, two things. That's it. That's pretty simple, right? Doing something you love and that you're great at. That's it.
Yeah, but what about the boss? What about the coworkers? I mean, doesn't
See,
that have something to it, right?
well, sure. I more think about that though as not to go negative, but those more as reasons to leave a job, right? So, what makes a great job? Well, I want to be doing something I love and something I'm good
Sure.
at.
Okay.
But why do I leave a job, right? I leave a job because of leadership. I leave it poor leadership. I leave a job because of poor culture, or I leave a job because I'm not paid enough. Those are I mean, certainly there are other reasons people leave jobs. Oh, my husband got relocated or
Sure.
my,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
whatever. There are reasons, but I think those are the three main ones why
So I think there's a certain amount of nearsightedness. A lot of people in management have no idea that they're not very good at it, right? What kind of advice would you give to somebody who manages people right now that would be helpful for them?
I would say make sure they're doing a job that they're great at and a job that they love, right? So I think people have this vast I don't know, they have all of these amazing human beings, that they've already hired, they've already trained, they already say they work there, and they got the
Mhm,
shirt
mhm,
embroidered shirt, right? So, take those people and make sure that they're doing what they love and what they're great at. I mean, I I'm sure it's no secret to you that I have an incredibly high I personality. I just wanna be with people. I just wanna be with people. I wanna know them. I wanna learn
mhm.
more about them. I wanna interact with them, and I get charged up being with people, but I sure don't wanna do a spreadsheet, nor can I do it well. I don't know how to do it well. I don't want to do it well, and the time that I would spend on that, would be so much better suited for any leader to say, "You know what? I'm gonna hire somebody to do your spreadsheet, and I'm gonna have you go out and do the things that you love and you're great at." And I think just that general analysis with all of your employees to ask them, "What are you doing what you love? Are you doing what you're great at?"
I'll add something on top of that because sometimes you'll see somebody say, I hear that. I just need somebody to answer the phone, right? They understand you, but they got this job and they got to get these boxes from point A to point B. And I would say this on top of that. Have the conversation with the person, especially if they're kind of new into the business world. Listen, I want to get you to where Allie's talking about, but I'm going to submit to you that you may not fully even understand what that is in yourself. So let's have this communication, or I'm going to have you do this, and we'll continue to talk so I can kind of merge you to where it fits best for you. And maybe it will be with this company, maybe not. But certainly there are skills that you will learn doing this thing that will be of some benefit as you move forward.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
But
So you heard what she said there?
a
Yeah, go
few
ahead.
things have to happen in there, right?
Hmm.
One, that leader has to do what they say they're gonna do.
Yes.
Right? There has
Hmm.
to be that follow-up, there has to be constant communication about
Hmm.
growth, and then at the same time, the employee has to trust that and be patient and like what they're doing enough to not have their eyes and their ears open to new opportunities, right? Because I think that's what happened to me a lot, right? I would be I'd be like, "Oh, this isn't this isn't quite what I wanted to be doing. And then I would maybe say that to someone, and then they would say, oh,
Yeah, yeah.
well, we really like you. We really like your personality. We think you'd be great at this. And then, they would sometimes
Woo you over
almost,
to something. Yeah.
yeah, kind of, mold a job description into something
Hmm.
to communicate it to me. Maybe that's not quite what it was, but they were trying to tell me that's what it was. So I would come and work for them.
Hmm.
And then I would be,
I've heard people who are really, really good with people who are hired by people. Well, you'll be great in sales. And they say, okay. And then they say, well, but I'm really kind of, yeah, that makes you great in sales. And then they'll convince you. And then once you get over there, they roll out that, well, it's a numbers game and you're going to call these many people. And you say, but you hired me because I'm good with people. Yes. And now meet these quotas, meet these things and so on and so forth. And I'm not saying they're either of them's right or either of them's wrong, but a lot of times those people don't make it in sales because the sales manager didn't hear and didn't necessarily apply. Now, I have one more question on this because there's a lot of people who say, and your life is your life. And you got your home and you got your family, you got your relationships, you got your hobbies, and you got your job. How important, what percentage of the pie is your job?
um, 0,
Oh,
100.
you big, okay, all right.
Um,
Yeah. So if I hear
so
you say it's 0 to 100, is that what you're saying? Okay.
yeah, or at times it's both, right?
Mm,
I want to have a job that when everything else is a priority over that's okay, right?
mhm,
I have
mhm,
a sick kid, somebody forgot their lunch, the dog needs a vaccination, my
mhm,
car needs the oil change. I mean, all of these life tasks that can bog us down. If your job can be 0 for 20 minutes while you get your oil changed, that's a that's a relief to me, and that brings joy and satisfaction to my life, knowing that I can run my kid her gym shoes and nobody's gonna care. In fact, they're gonna be happy for me. "Oh, thank
mhm.
goodness that you were available to go do that." Right? But then there are times, and there have been jobs, honestly, that kind of at times feel like your life. I mean, a flight attendant was one of them. People said, "How did you like that?" And I said, "Well, I mean, it's a lifestyle more than it is a job. It's what you do. And even when you're not working, you're on call and you're checking your phone and you're managing your schedule and you um so I don't know. I'd like to say 0, but I know that's not realistic, right? We have to do our best at
No,
our
I
job. We
think
have
I
to
think
make money.
I think there's also something that you don't appreciate till you're not working. It's the collaborative compensation of belonging to a group that together is doing something that you couldn't do yourself. And there's that kind of interaction and that kind of spark and verve as you're building something together. That on the one point, you say, listen, I got a sick kid. I got to take care of that. But as soon as that sick kid is taken care of, I got to get back because we're building this cool thing. And the question is, how much can you play a part in that? It's a good question. It's a good question for, sadly, unbelievably, unrelentlessly, another time. Because if I'm looking at my clock right now, we've already been talking very close to 1 hour. Unbelievable.
Hmm.
So, Allie, this is what I tell people when I get some negative self talk. I say, people are interested in what I have to say because I say interesting things. I think anybody has something interesting to say. If we give them a time and a place to think about it and they just have great conversation. You know, we did not talk about anything controversial. but we talked about real things and we talked about life things and we talked about interesting things. And you did a great job doing that. I've known Allie for a long time. And I said, listen, I'm working on this new technology. Will you be a guinea pig? And she wonderfully agreed to do that. And you, to me, are proof that this could or should work. I feel like this should work. There should be enough people who both want to watch this and then also be a part of it. Here's the thing, and I'll say this to you, the viewer, right? I'm interested in interesting people who have interesting things to say. So it doesn't matter if you didn't win a gold medal or win the national championship or make $1 billion. If you have an interesting story or an interesting perspective, I want to hear it. And if you know somebody who does, I want to hear that too. So go down to the comments and subscribe and link and comment and blah, blah, blah. And we'll be in contact. In the meantime, please join this little group of people who just enjoy each other's company. And until we meet, I am Jeff Gould, America's storyteller. God bless. So if you know somebody who has a good story and would like to be interviewed on this, please let me know. There are many things that drive wedges between us, but there are many, many more things that we have in common. And when we share these stories, we laugh, we learn, we gain insight, we grow. It's a great journey. If you have anybody that you think would make a good addition to the show, please let me know in the comments. In the meantime, like and subscribe, all that other stuff we ask people to do. Until we talk again, I'm Jeff Gould, America's storyteller. God bless.